Hi everyone, welcome to this video. Okay, in our last video we discussed some basic terminology in SQL and apart from that, rules of EFCAR and some important rules. Okay, from this video we are going to discuss data types in SQL. So let's start the video. Basically, what is data type? What do you mean by data type? Okay, it is nothing but it's going to tell what type of data is going to store in a particular memory location. Okay, let's take example of our programming language. Okay, in Java or C or Python, any of this language, let us assume I'm defining one variable of age. Okay, when I declare this variable age, compulsory I have to mention the data type, mean in type of data this is. That means whenever I'm trying to give input to this variable, I must have to enter this integer type of variable only. If I try to store some string type of data in this age, it is not going to take because I already defined this age is of integer type. So this data type is going to tell what type of data, what specific type of data is going to store in a particular memory location. Particular memory location means the variable what I am going to declare. You can see general syntax, column name, then data type. Then here we must have to mention the size of data. Okay, you can see just example on student ID, this is nothing but one of the column, then data type number. The size of this data type is 5. Okay, now some different data type. First of all, character data types. Okay, like in our programming language we use string. Okay, here we are using character data type, char, varchar, varchar2. Okay, what is char, what is varchar, what is varchar2, we are going to see in our next video when we do our hands-on part. Okay, here I'm going to give you an overall idea. See, varchar and varchar2 are almost same. Okay, here we can store data up to 2000. Okay, but in case of varchar2, it is updated version of varchar. Here we can store 4000. Okay, in case of character, we can store 2000 data. Okay, char is of fixed length. Whatever size, let's assume I'm in one column name, I give character char and give size 50. Okay, if I already declare this column, if I store only two name RL, that means I reserve 50 space. Okay, here I reserve 50 place, but instead of this 50 I store data in only two place. That means rest 48 place is going to waste. I'm not using that. But in case of varchar, it is not like that. Whatever space I occupy, that is going to be mine. Otherwise, whatever the rest space, if I don't use that, it is not going to waste. Okay, and this is all about this character data type. Okay, in our hands-on part I'm going to explain this thing quite briefly and easily. Okay, next, number data type. What do you mean by number data type? Like we see integer type of data, integer data type in our programming language. Same thing here, number. If you are using MySQL, there also integer is there, but here we are using number. We have to write like this number instead of this int. This is the difference. Otherwise, MySQL and Oracle SQL is quite same. Approx 10% things are 10% syntax are different. Okay, whenever we have to store any numeric value, in case of that we can take this number data type. Okay, let's assume ID is one column. I'm giving data type here number, and I have to define the size. I'm defining size as 10, and this is enough. Okay, then date data type. Okay, date data type means, you can see in our last video I show a table there, hire date, joining date, something like this is there. In case of that, we are using date data type. Here the default format is dd mon and y is there, and y. This two format is there, and these things are quite same. Okay, this means if I represent a 1st of January 2001, then I have to write like this, or I can write like this: 1 here January and here 1. This is the format. I think this is quite simple. And then our last data type is large object. Large object means we already see in character we can store up to 2000 character data type. In varchar we can store 2000 characters. In varchar 2 we can store up to 4000 character. Let us assume a scenario is there when we have to store some 10,000 of character. We are not able to use CHAR or varchar 2. Then how can we define that particular scenario? For that we have to use CLOB, character large object. Here we can store up to 4 GB of our data. Basically it is store large character data. It is huge, very much huge. In case of that we are using character large object type of data type. Okay, but binary large object, why we use this? Let us assume we have some video data, some image data. We are not able to store in that char or varchar or number. For that, to store this type of data, we have to use some data type. In case of that, we can store binary large object. In binary large object, we just have to convert it into binary and store here. Up to 4 GB we can store. By the name itself, the large object data type, we can get an idea about this. If we need any large type of data, we have to use this large object data type. And this is all about this data type concept. If you have any doubt, you can connect through me through comment section. In our next video, we are going to discuss about constraints. What is constraint in SQL? And this is all about this video. Thanks for watching this video. Do subscribe to the channel. Thank you.